Happy Tuesday! It's Team Sing in Pink live. Today we are talking about DMO, IPA, and tools of the trade, and what does any of that even mean, and how is it helpful to you? So, will not make you answer me, but does anybody here know what DMO stands for? Good job, Stephanie. DMO, Daily Mode of Operation. You knew. It's something that's important to figure out what works best for you. Obviously, one of the most famous quotes about probably any network marketing company, but even ours, is you can work this business part-time, but you can't work this business sometimes. And the reason is you can definitely do that, but you're not really going to see the fruits of that. So, something like working your business sometimes would be like, maybe 3 times a week, or, one day you're going to message people or reach out or post about Plexus, but then you don't do it for a whole nother week. And then you do it again. It's very sporadic. That's what we mean by like, you can't work this business sometimes. And obviously you can do that. The point is you're just not going to see the fruits of those actions. If you want to make money, whether or not you just want to pay off a few bills, or if you want to see the whole financial freedom, no glass ceiling, it is going to be directly linked to how much you put in. It's just like the best job ever. You're actually getting paid on your effort and what you put in versus jobs where you can work to death and never get a raise. Like, I think of my family and my dad, he's been working at the same job forever and he feels like he's going to die at his desk. So thankfully we have an opportunity to really give it all we've got for a short period of time and reap incredible benefits. But you can't work sometimes. You got to work part-time at least. You can set your own hours. It is totally up to you how much time you want to give. If it's 15 minutes a day, as long as you're doing it consistently and every day and you're hitting on the things that we're going to talk about in a minute, that's fine. You may not see your income rise as quickly as someone who gives it an hour or 2 hours a day, but you just may not be there yet. And that's totally fine. It's just up to you. That's the freedom of it as well. That's why it's the best thing. Rather than going to getting a second job, you can actually create legitimate income on your extra time, and it works for everybody. So that's DMO. So we want to make sure that you're able to find your comfortable daily mode of operation. We all work differently. We think differently. We organize differently. So I'm the type of person, I'm like, give me a system, give me something that I can follow and I don't have to make it up myself. However, it is definitely not as beneficial as figuring out what works best for you, what works best with your schedule, how does it feel good for you to work so that this isn't a chore. This isn't like, oh, I gotta go sit in my Plexus cubicle, like what is good for you. So that's what daily mode of operation means to me. What works best for you? How are you going to best fit this into your schedule to reach the goals that you're setting for yourself? And obviously we've got an entire slew of people to support you in that. Your upline's there to support you. I'm here to support you in however that needs to look and help you figure it out. But ultimately, if it's, in my experience, if I'm telling you to do something or setting your hours, then you've got another boss. And the whole point of this is that you get to be your own boss. You know what I mean? Obviously we need help and we need a mentor, but you got to take control of your growth. And that is the most wonderful part about being your own boss. Okay. So that is DMO. Everyone kind of gets like what a DMO is. And so when you see that, when you see Abby posting about DMO, that just means your daily mode of operation. And sometimes you may need to reevaluate your daily mode of operation. For teachers, your DMO is going to look different on the weekends than it does during the week, or especially during the summer than it does during the school year. For someone who has a really busy season in their job, they may need to, refit their DMO to make sure they can get it all in and not feel too stressed out, but they're hitting all the areas. And then at other times of the year, they'd be okay. For moms, you need to have a flexible DMO. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you got kids running around all the time, you may not have hours that you can set. So just think about those things as you're working through what your daily mode of operation is going to be. So the next is IPA. Does everybody know what IPA stands for? Yeah, good. IPA is income producing activity. So part of your DMO is going to be to make sure you're getting your IPA done. Now, most of you are involved in a IPA accountability chat thread, which is wonderful. I really, wish all of us would utilize it. That's something that keeps me going, you guys, because I'm like, my team's gonna see what I did. Like, I have to make sure I've stepped it up today and got all my stuff done. But it's not like the chat thread, the IPA accountability chat threads, like, don't ever feel like it's something that people are going to be like, ooh, you didn't do enough, or you know what I mean, or whoa, child, like, slow down. That is the place where we can celebrate each other, give each other ideas. And honestly, for me, I didn't work my business consistently until Jessica Heffley added us all, like Abby's team, into an IPA chat thread. I had no idea how other people were working their business. And, seeing what other people were doing, I was like, man, I don't do much of that stuff. Like, I need to step it up. And those are things that are easy for me to do. I just don't think about doing them on a daily basis. And it kind of gave me some like pointers of how to effectively work my business by watching what other teammates were doing. So it's definitely a place for you to encourage one another. But honestly, it's something that I use as like, make sure you get all your crap done by the end of the day, because you're going to have to put in there what you did, and it's accountability for myself because I want to be accountable to you guys. So that's what those chat threads are for. So if you want to be added to an IPA chat thread, you'll be able to see what other people are doing in their days and help you be accountable to keep your business working every day. If you're in one and haven't been posting, utilize that. Don't feel pressure to have like a mile-long list. Some people just check in and are like, yes, I reached out to 10 people. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Like, cut and dry. Like, it is not a contest. It is just a place where we can all encourage and, celebrate what we've done for the day and pat ourselves on the back and be like, yes, I am an awesome entrepreneur. So IPA, what is IPA? And I'm going to kind of like do tools of the trade mixed in with some of this stuff because I think it will be helpful for you. One of the files, and if you have not discovered or explored in the files section of my team page, Sing in Pink, Abby's team page has a few files, but Jessica Heffley has like a ton of files on her team page. So someday when you're just doing your power hour or, interested in some stuff or wanting to explore, go look through the files. There's some really great stuff that you can use, some stuff that you can copy and email, or just information for you to have. Something that I created a few months ago was the IPA, monthly IPA calendar. And this is in Team Sing in Pink. I am terrible at actually writing things down, so I didn't create this really for myself, but for people who really like to have something where they can go back to and write down and make sure they're not missing things, this is very easy to use. And especially with someone who's getting started, not having to remember, that was always my worst thing, is like, what didn't I do yet? Or what did I do earlier today, so that I knew what I was going to have to write down later. This is a great way to keep track of that. So on each square, it says FCM, which is first contact message. So how many people did you reach out to that day? How many videos or calls did you watch? Did you coach anyone from your team? How many posts did you do? Was it, 2 and 2, like we like to try and shoot for, 2 Plexus posts, 2 non-Plexus posts? Personal development. Did you read a book? Did you, have good Bible study, like any of that? And then did you add anybody new? So those are all little tick marks here that you can put a number in for how many you've done of something, or check off that you did your personal development, something like that, just to keep up with. These are things that I need to be shooting for, hitting every single day. And here, I did it. And then at the end of the day, you can be like, okay, I'm just going to type this into my IPA chat thread. Good to go. Covered all my bases. So that's on every day. So you can use this. And I have, randomly on here, check in with your level 1s, and team calls on Tuesdays, follow up Fridays on Friday. So just reminders of things that you need to be doing throughout the month that you won't have to like make yourself remember. So this is a great tool, especially getting started working your business, that you want to be consistent. Consistency is huge. That goes back to the you can't work sometimes, but you need to work part-time at least. But consistency is huge. It was it Mary Catherine that you posted. You've been posting about Plexus consistently for a year, and someone finally messages you and are like, all right, I've been stalking your Plexus posts, and she's been posting for a year, but it's because you're consistent. That happens a lot to me. It wears people down the more information you give, and not wears them down in a bad way, but it helps tear down those walls. The more information, the more you post about it, and the longer you're involved with it, and they see that you're proud to be involved with something for a long period of time, it immediately makes them trust you more and trust the product more, because there is so much out there that people, it's just a fad. And that's honestly what people think that any type of network marketing company is. It's a fad product. It's going to go away. It's not going to last long. Plexus is not a fad. Our company is debt-free, and they have signed a 79.5-year lease on their building, and they are creating products that are going to sustain them and make them a legacy company. And we're on the ground floor of that. So let's cultivate that for sure and make sure that we are creating a legacy business for ourselves within this legacy company. But that's why the consistency. We don't want people to see us falling on and off the horse, because it just makes them not be able to trust us, and this company and these products are trustworthy. So we need to have that consistency for them to trust. Also, if you're trying to build any type of a business, reaching out, consistency and reaching out, you constantly need new people seeing what you're doing so that those walls can be broken down incrementally, and you never run out of people that are, watching you or thinking about it. You never want to run out of fence sitters, which happens. It happens sometimes, but consistently reaching out is going to keep that from happening less and less and less. So the other thing that's down here that I love about this that I created, is that bad to say? That it has like daily, you need to make sure you're reaching out, posting on social media, educating yourself, helping your team, and doing personal development. So that's a list, like every day you need to be doing these things. Weekly, doing, participating or holding team calls, follow up Fridays, check in on dosage for people, coaching level ones, things that you can be doing once a week. Monthly, print out a new IPA calendar, fill out new goal sheet, print new ambassador planning sheet, which we're going to get to in just a minute, attend a live event or attend an online event somewhere. There's a lot of those going around on different team pages. Hopefully we'll start doing more of those as a team too that you can plug into, or host an event or training once a month. Do a sip and see, get a Zoom call together with your team. And then there's like a month-end tally of how many level ones you added, how many preferred customers you added, what was your total PV and your total pay points, and what was your rank. So this is just a cool thing. Like if you have a binder, or if you've got anywhere where you're just keeping Plexus stuff, like to be able to look back, think about like when you go Emerald, to be able to look back and see all the hard work you did and all the ranks and what you did and added. I just think this would be really cool to have like 12 of these and look back in a year and be like, man, I was a rock star, like even when I first started, right? Anyway, so that is tool of the trade number 1. This is in our file section. If you are signing new ambassadors, I talk about these in our like welcome to the team video, but make sure they're printing these out. Or, Joni, one of my friends, she does a really good job. She like sends people a whole packet of information and mails it to them, like, or print them out and give them to them yourself, or, meet with them for coffee and go over this stuff. Because this is just going to help them get organized from the get-go and at least know what they're supposed to be doing so they can choose to do it or not. So that kind of covers the IPA chat threads. Again, if you're not in one, ask your sponsor, because there is one for our whole team, and then some of our teams are doing individual smaller team chat threads. Again, they're very important just to keep you consistent and accountable to each other. So the second tool of the trade that I love and I would fill out every month is our ambassador goals sheet. This has a place where you can reevaluate your why every month. You would print a new one of these out. You would reevaluate your 1-month goal, your 3-month goal, your 6-month goal, and your yearly goal. And then there's a place down here for extra things that if you are a visual person, you want to write, like stuff that you would put on a vision board, or your affirmations or things like that. Anything like that, that's why there's a blank space down there for you to utilize as you would want to. But having goals is huge. Like if you are not setting goals, then you really don't feel like you have anything that you're working toward. And so it all kind of feels futile. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm just spending hours on this. I don't really know why I'm doing this. But if you have a goal, look, I want to be silver by the end of this month, and I want to be gold in 3 months. So that means I have to get, I need to get 3 people at least, which means I need to talk to probably at least 30 to 50 people this month. Having those goals in mind gives you fuel to your fire of, all right, you know what? If I'm going to be silver this month, I've got to start reaching out to people, or I can't not post today. If I'm going to be gold in 3 months, then I need to help my team stay on their products so they don't fall off and, I have no points anymore. So setting goals is huge. So utilizing this is great, and printing it out once a month is good because you're constantly reevaluating your why. Why are you doing this? Why is this even important for you to spend time on? What do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years that this is going to help you do? Where do you want to be financially? Where do you want to be professionally? Those kinds of things. So that can be used. And this, again, is on our team page, the ambassador goals on Team Sing in Pink. Y'all, and this next sheet I use every month, and I have not used it the last 2 months well, and I can tell, like, I am going crazy with, like, who did I talk to? Like, what did I do? And that is the ambassador planning sheet. If you don't use this and you find yourself, like, forgetting who to follow up with, or kind of, not remembering who your customer, like you wanted to follow up to make sure they were going to sign up as a customer, or who your new customers are, so you're checking in with them on dosage, like, you need to print out this sheet. This was huge for me my first whole year. Like, I literally have a ton of these. I would scribble all over these. Has top customer prospects, top ambassador prospects, and I would create 3 lines even here and just be like, who was I talking to? Who was really talking back to me? Who kept, maybe they're giving you the runaround, but that they're interested, putting them there. Potential customers, new customers for follow-up. And ambassadors. Who are your new ambassadors? It has a 10 spots right there, which is great. That could cover your ambassadors for the last 3 months, so that you're checking in with them on dosage. You're not forgetting, because many of you don't have large enough teams where maybe you're not forgetting people that you've signed up yet, but I'm here to tell you that totally happens, and it does not feel good when you're like, crap, who did I even sign up last month that I need to check in with on dosage? Like, not only do you feel like a dog because you're like, great, I just totally pulled them into this, and I don't even remember who they were. But that's why this is so important, because people cannot fall through the cracks. We have asked them to trust us with something very important, with their health, with their finances, and we need to make sure that we're checking up on them. And this really, really helps me. So hopefully it will help some of you too. But the ambassador planning also has to-do lists at the bottom. I use this as kind of like a monthly to-do list, or people that are in the Maui Marathon. I know Mary Catherine does this in her planner, what do you need to accomplish? What's going to go on this month? Are you going to do a sip and see? Do you want to make sure you do an event, or, something like that? Some, to-do list, obviously, kind of self-explanatory to-do list. But so that's in Team Sing in Pink files as well. That was really helpful for me. So I think it's really helpful too for new people, because you don't even, until you get kind of in the rhythm of it, which I still am 1 year in, you kind of just don't really remember stuff as well. Well, maybe I just have a bad memory. I don't know. The other 2 things that I utilize are customer information and follow-up sheets, and the ambassador information and follow-up sheets. These are both on our team page as well. It has a place for their name, their ID, what they are taking the products for, what products they're using, when's their birthday, and all these spaces for awesome follow-up. So I am not saying that I utilize these to a T and I'm super organized. I have them all in my binder, and I follow up with people. I don't always go back and write them down. So don't feel like I'm this awesome organized person, but these are very helpful because you can go back and look if you need someone's phone number and you can't get on your back office or whatever the case may be. It's just great to have people written down in an organized place that you think if you have a real job, you've got clients or prospects. I worked in leasing for a long time, property management. We had a file on every single person, even if they didn't purchase or rent an apartment from us. We had them in a folder. They're, application or whatever, you know, we asked them questions that day about what they were looking for, so we could go back and follow up with them and see, how did you ever find a place to live? It's the same type of thing here, you guys. But this is just for your customers that you sign up and your ambassadors that you sign up, because you want to know what's going on with people. And when you have enough people on your team, you may forget that 6 months ago, you know, they were struggling with this, and oh my gosh, you're not even dealing with that anymore. How awesome is that? So it's also a great way just to remind yourself of like little celebratory things, and helping them to revise their why. I love that on the ambassador one, it says their initial why, revision 1 and revision 2, because those of us who have been in this for long enough know that that why changes and it can change pretty quickly once you start seeing your paychecks come in and you're like, okay, that's wonderful. Okay, my why is getting a little bigger this month. And then one of the last tools of the trade, this is just an easy thing. Mary Catherine actually, edited this to make it landscape and have more room for follow-up. But this is just a little contact list. We, as a whole, network marketing, you know, you're encouraged to create that 100 list or that Frank's list, a list of contacts that you know you want to reach out to, people that are your friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids group people, or services, and strangers. There's another S if you want to add that one in there too. But this contact list is an easy way to write that stuff down, so it's not like in a random notebook somewhere, which is what I did before I created this. They were just like scribbled in some notebook that was on my desk, and I didn't use it even very often. But having this was great, because then it had places for follow-up. I knew who responded with what. If they messaged me back and were like, no, stop talking to me, I would be like, not right now. Or, you know, if they were like, yeah, maybe later, I would put like a little circle, like I need to go back to you. So you can utilize that however you want. I use that, like I have one paper that's just like dream team members, and then I have other papers that are just people that I'm thinking of as I'm going through my Facebook list, or et cetera, et cetera. But again, Mary Catherine did change that. So there should be 2 options, I think, on our team page. One is landscape with more follow-ups, and then one is long ways with 4 follow-ups and kind of a thing. So those are my tools of the trade as far as like things that I would utilize on a monthly basis. I do use my phone mostly. I have a planner that I try to be really good with, but I'm notoriously bad at journaling and writing things down, because I am just kind of everywhere, and so I don't come back to the same thing. But that's why my phone is great, because it's always in my hand. So really the point of this is there's no wrong way to do this. But you have to do whatever you're going to do consistently, and you got to hit the main points. You got to be reaching out. You got to be posting. You got to follow up with people. You got to be developing yourself personally, and you have to be involved. Like, team involvement is huge. So making sure you're watching the team pages should definitely be part of your DMO. Even if you're like a non-Facebook junkie, make sure you're on there at least twice a day so you know what's going on. The worst part is like missing a whole incentive or missing out on a special that you could have offered people, and you weren't aware because you weren't paying attention on the team page and stuff like that. Sucks. So make sure your teammates know, and you're tagging people in there. That's always really helpful for new people as well, because they're not trained yet to know, like, hey, this is a page I want to go and look at all the time, because they really don't know to care about what's going on yet. So does anybody have any questions about DMO or IPA or any of these sheets that I was saying? And these are not the end-all be-all, guys. Tweak them, create something for yourself. Don't use them, but at least like just wanted you to know that they're available, because it is a good place to start, just to make sure that you don't have things falling through the cracks. And like I said, they really helped me because I'm not naturally organized. So it was great for me to have a place to be like, oh yeah. Is there anything you guys have questions about, or that I totally missed and skipped and should cover before we end the recording for any of your new people? Any questions that they've been asking you recently? No, I talked enough and fast enough that I covered it all. That's awesome. All right, well, there's still a few hours in the day. If you've had a long day elsewhere, just make sure you're getting those little things done so that you can be consistent for your day today. Love you guys. I appreciate you making time to be on here tonight. It's also very important because we get to see each other's faces, and I love to see you guys. You guys are so encouraging. But yes, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Make sure any of you who wanted to do the flash incentive that ends lunchtime tomorrow. So make sure you're sending out those messages and taking screenshots of those things so you can get entered for the gift card and stuff. All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for being on.